So I wanted to start off by saying that I personally need to do this, and maybe you should too. Who am I? I'm Tanya Abatello. This is Trust Your Gut with Tanya, and I am a National Academy of Sports Medicine certified nutrition coach, a Kundalini yoga practitioner, and a citizen scientist. And I get into the nerdy science stuff here, but we're going to talk a little bit about detoxing. My equinox detox starts tonight. Usually I do these on the equinoxes. I figured it's probably a little easier to do that because the last portion of it, the actual detoxing, when you get into the stuff where you're dealing with parasites. Oh, wait a minute. She's talking about parasites. She's got to be crazy. You're coming in contact with parasites more often than you think. But here's what happens. Every full moon, that's when they hatch. It could be one of the reasons why you get agitated. It's one of the reasons why we have lunatics. It's one of the reasons why people go crazy. Just one of the reasons. But you have to keep on top of these things because your body's getting bombarded constantly. And what are we getting bombarded constantly from? Heavy metals, first and foremost. Heavy metals, if you've got silver fillings, you've got heavy metals. If you have copper pipes, metal pipes, old pipes, if you're on an old water system, you're getting heavy metals. If you are eating, I don't know, vegetables, you're getting heavy metals. You're also getting them through fish. If you're eating seafood, especially the large fish like tuna or swordfish or different big fishes, because the big fish eats littler fish, which eats a littler fish, littler fish, like a tiny fish. And that's how it builds up in your system. It's getting into the water. It's from mining. It's naturally occurring. They use aluminum, or they used to use mercury, but so there's a possibility of it accumulates in your system in anything that they use for injecting into you to preserve and to make your immune response happen when you get a vaccine. So there is a pretty good possibility that you have some level of heavy metals. You may not be totally overloaded yet, but it's just another one of those little things. This is like the death by 1,000 cuts. We talk about this a lot. Death by 1,000 cuts. It's like one little thing. It's not going to hurt you. But if you get all these little things, I mean, eventually you're going to bleed out. And that's where we're at with this stuff. What are the other things? Forever chemicals, endocrine disruptors. What does that mean? Your endocrine system are your glands, your hormones, the things that regulate your body. We've had a 50% drop in fertility since the 70s. Now, there's a million reasons why that's happening. Some of them are psychological, but some of them are chemical. And, you know, if you're a woman and you have PCOS, if you have fertility issues yourself, you're trying to conceive and you can't, if you have irregular periods or heavy periods, there is a really good possibility that you are getting exposed to these endocrine disruptors. Thyroid issues, that's a big one. A lot of people have no idea. The thyroid, the TSH range, that when they test your thyroid, it could be like normal, low normal, or high normal, and there still could be a problem there. And it could be being caused by some of these endocrine disruptors. All right, where do we find this stuff? Well, a lot of them are plastic, microplastics, just touching your laptop, touching your phone, the glasses on your face. I mean, it's touching your skin. Chewing gum. That one was one that I hadn't really considered nor realized. I thought all this time when I was chewing gum, I was chewing some kind of natural resin gum thing because they say gum base. Boy, was I wrong. I've changed to natural chewing gum now, and because I chew a lot of gum. I like it. I like using the xylitol in it. It helps to keep the bacteria, the bad bacteria in your mouth down. But anyway, microplastics, endocrine disruptors, they're literally everywhere. They're in your carpet. They're in the flame retardants in things. And they're in your clothes. This shirt is, I like this shirt. I am looking to replace this shirt with natural fibers because all of these little tiny pieces that come off when you run the dryer and you pull out the dryer lint, that's microplastics too. And that gets in the air. You breathe it in when you're cleaning things and you whatever. It's everywhere. Let's see, what are the other things? Viruses, right? Viruses. So we're all we're all really now very familiar with viruses, specifically like COVID 19 was a big one. We learned a lot about viruses and how they work during that whole era. And one of the things that happens with viruses is they're a little strand of RNA or DNA with a little protein coat. They get into your body and they wiggle their way into your cell, and specifically in the nucleus of your cell. And they hang out in there and they replicate. And that's everything. Anything that's alive is trying to replicate and reproduce. So that's what it does. And it uses your cell to incubate. And this is one of the reasons why viruses are called um, microscopic obligate parasites. They are. They act that way. They live that way. They reproduce that way. They require a host to do what they need to do. That's what any parasite does. So I separate out the viruses and the parasites because the parasites are bigger and they do things to your organs and your systems in your body and stuff rather than the individual cells. Although there are some, and there's some that walk the line, right? So, what happens with viruses? They build up and up and up, and your body recognizes, oh my goodness, there's something foreign, and the white blood cells come. There is your whole immune system that happens where it converts over. Your T cells start to recognize it, and your body kind of keeps it down to a level that you're able to function under. Unfortunately, if you have something like, say, for instance, the herpes virus, right? You get a little cold sore, that virus, it'll break out and then it'll disappear and it goes into the nerves and it hangs out and hides there for the right opportunity. And the right opportunity can be anything. If you're somebody who gets a period every month, boom, that'll happen. You'll get a cold sore. If you get stressed out, you get another virus, you go have surgery, you get into a car accident, you could have a breakout. And this goes for all viruses. So if you've had some really big, bad, ugly ones, yeah, the possibility is that you may have that happen. That's why a lot of times, like we see people get shingles when they come out of the hospital. It's not that they caught the shingles there, they've had the shingles from the chickenpox virus. It's the same thing. And they didn't get the constant reminder from being in front of a kid that has chickenpox because now we vaccinate kids against chickenpox. So you don't have that constant boost to your immune system happening with that, and you get sick, boom, shingles, right? So this is what happens with viruses. Back to the parasites. Parasites, pretty important to talk about parasites. So there are, you think like the big like tapeworms and things like that. Yeah, it could happen. Our pork is not so hot. If you get like a hamburger that's a little too rare, it's possible you could get a tapeworm. Most of the parasites that we have here in at least the Northeast, for the most part, are bordering on being microscopic stuff. You could get giardia from the water, like say you're swimming in a lake or something, you get it in your mouth, it gets into your system. You can get toxoplasmosis from cleaning your cat box. That is one of those things they warn pregnant women to do, is like get somebody to clean your cat box for you, because toxoplasmosis is dangerous to your baby when you're pregnant. That gets into your body, it works its way into your brain, it gets into your tissues. If you have a horrible problem like an immune disorder like HIV or something like that happening, then you can actually just die of toxoplasmosis taking over your body. The other things that happen are you get a tick bite, right? Or a mosquito bite. You can get illnesses that way. Lyme disease, Ehrlichia. Now they have this, what's it called? From the Lone Star tick. You can get this alpha gal, which makes you allergic to beef. I mean, There's a whole mess of things that are happening. The Lyme disease is terrible. Lyme disease isn't even really, it's some kind of, science doesn't even know how to classify it. They call it a spirochete, which is something else. It kind of looks like a little spiral, and it's almost like a virus. It's almost like a parasite. It's one of those things that's kind of in between. It's like a missing link between the two. And these things are very difficult to kill, except if you stay on top of them. Yes, if you're lucky and you're one of those people who recognize, oh my goodness, I got bit by a tick. It's obvious to you that it happened. You immediately feel crummy. If you could get a like heavy dose of antibiotics right off the rip with that, you're probably okay. But most of us, unfortunately, are not. And this stuff hangs out and it tricks your body into thinking that it's fine. It's very difficult to eradicate these things. So we live with them. And now, okay, well, we've lived with them for how long? What did we do before? We weren't constantly being bombarded by all of the other things that we talked about earlier, right? So your body had a fighting chance. And as a matter of fact, a little parasite here and there was actually kind of a good thing because it helped to keep your immune system doing what it does best, which is staying on guard. It was one of those things. It was like it's like a constant boost to your immune system to have this stuff. One of the things that I've heard proposed, that I don't know whether or not I agree with it either way, is if you don't have anything at all, if you have no parasites in your body, you can get sick because your immune system, it'll cause an autoimmune disorder because it has nothing to go after. I don't know how much water that theory holds, but all I know is in the world we're living in right now, it is extremely important to cleanse yourself of these things on the regular. It's important to do all the things that I've been talking about for the last 4 weeks. You have to be pooping daily, making sure your liver and your kidneys, your elimination systems are working and functioning and supporting them. You need to make sure that your lymphatic system is doing its job and pulling all of that dead stuff, all of the things that your white blood cells are doing, cleansing it out, getting it out of where your brain is too. Very important to do that. Again, I get into that in the last couple episodes, and we get into the Equinox Detox, which is starting tonight at 6 p.m. The Equinox Detox is 6 weeks of going through your diet, cleaning it up. We don't go crazy, guys. Don't worry about it. It's not like you're going to be, starving, but there's certain things that you're going to want to do or avoid, or other things that you're going to want to add to your diet when you're doing this. It's important to do the step-by-step process, because if you go in there and you just take something and you're killing stuff off, you're going to experience a healing crisis, a die-off. All of these things in your body, if you put something into it, this happens when you go on antibiotics too. If you're on some broad spectrum antibiotic, you should be on a binder. This is something that they need to be giving people. What's a binder? A binder can be activated charcoal, zeolite clay, bentonite clay, chlorella, different things that will, broccoli sprouts, believe it or not, that helps as well. Chlorophyll. These things bind to all of the toxins that these dying creatures inside of you release. One of the things that the dying creatures release is heavy metals, right? So you get kind of like a 1-2 punch if you're trying to kill the stuff off. You have to have something that is sweeping your heavy metals as well. So binders, really important. Continuing to do all of your lymphatic drainage and detox baths, doing castor oil packs. Now, do you need to do all of these things? No, but they help and they're tools. So we take 6 weeks. The first week is just introducing you into everything. We look at what you've got in your pantry and what you're eating. We go through different things that you can eat. I have a cookbook, even different recipes that you can follow. We get into your kitchen. We look at all your pots and pans and plastic containers, and we go through and clean those out. I offer suggestions. I have a whole list of things that I recommend that you'd use instead. Mason jars, just saying. Um, we go into your bathroom. We look at all the things that you use for, your lotions and your body care and soaps and things like that, deodorants, right? We make sure that you're not adding to the stuff that you're trying to get rid of, because we're not just trying to clean things out and hit just the symptoms, right? We're trying to prevent this from building up in the first place, right? So we get into all that. We talk about the lymphatic drainage process, and we end with the full moon parasite cleanse. I call it parasite cleanse, but it is the cleanse for everything. And you are cleansing right along. There are different supplements that support your liver and your kidneys throughout, bind to things. They do kind of work on these levels throughout the 5 weeks that you're getting them. The first week is so that you can order all the supplies. And I don't remember exactly the cost here, but it's only a couple $100 in the end with the supplements. So it's worth it to go through this. And then when you learn, you get the resources, you understand how to do it. A lot of times, like when I order my stuff, it's good for a couple different detoxes too. So, and you're going to want to do that. This is why the equinox is a great time to do this. For instance, you got to change those batteries in your smoke detectors at daylight savings time, right? It's the time to do that. Well, the equinox is the time to detox. It just goes well together, right? You're talking fall, you're talking spring, changing seasons. You've been stuck in the house all winter. It's spring cleaning time. So I will be putting a link to the Equinox Detox, as well as some studies that I found that talk about a little further in detail about all of the different things that we are currently dealing with right now. And you can sign up. I think the sign up link will probably be active for the next week. After that, it'll be too late because there won't be enough time for you to order what you need to order. But if you have any questions, please let me know. And that's it for today, folks. Until next week, this has been Trust Your Gut with Tanya. I am Tanya Abatello, wishing you a very sparkling day.